Hello, we're on. um, Hi, welcome to a new video journal. Today is May 6th, 2026. I'm gonna move this over here. I am on my laptop. I'm running out of storage on my iPad, so I'm going to start doing video journals on my laptop. I have nothing but full uh, space. I have space on my laptop, so yeah, here we are. I think it's pretty nostalgic to record videos on your laptop like the early 2000s. But anyway, it's been a week. I am closing out and stepping into things. I'm closing doors, but also I'm stepping into new doors as well. Um, I am leaving my second grade teaching job. I'm so sad to go, right? But I have to go just due to some very hard circumstances right now. And it's a time for me to just pivot and move forward with so much gratitude and grace. And I feel like maybe I'll be back in the future, but um, like I said, it's time for me to kind of just step forward, during this time. So yeah, it's no bad blood, but I'm gonna miss my students. Tomorrow's my last day. Um, I'm gonna miss them, and we've built such a great, like, all of my students, we've built such a great relationship together. With like a little family. um we've just had the grandest time. Like, even today, they have made me laugh so hard, and they're so funny, and they're so smart and so creative too, and talented. And so I'm just gonna miss being around that energy overall. But um but yeah, um with all that being said, this is so different than what I'm about to talk, like, completely off topic. But let's talk about connection. Let's talk about romance. Let's talk about love and all the things, okay? I feel like I've talked so much about my career life and my creative life. I've really don't talk a lot about my, you know, experiences when it comes to romantic love. And who I am, who am I, like, how am I navigating um, through such a life, right? Like, I'm separated now. I have uh, two beautiful children. I've had the wonderful experience of settling down and building a life with someone and creating a family. And so I'm on the other side of that. And I don't know. I'm trying to understand, who I am as a lover and who I am as a partner. I know that I'm so used to loving from a deep place. I'm so used to loving, with my soul. I'm so used to loving with my chest. And, things obviously have slowed down. Um, Things are different, of course. And so I'm a new, I'm coming into like a new woman. I'm coming into a new person in general. And so, um, discovering that is really important. I think that it's not really talked about enough. How does your love life look on the other side after you have already built such a great life with someone and now you guys are no longer together? What does it look like? And especially when you have children. I think, as parents, we already have to be careful when it comes to dating because we have children. And so that has already been something that, like, I don't take lightly. I tend to just not even, like, you will never really see that side of me, unless if we are really, really serious or, in a committed relationship. But, yeah, like, I wouldn't say I've had a hard time trying to figure out who I am as a lover, who I am as a partner. Um, I would say maybe I find I tend to find myself like in a weird category because I'm not in a rush to settle down. I'm not in a rush to settle down, but at the same time, I want to move forward in such a direction. Not necessarily in a rush, but like, let's take our time moving into that direction. And so sometimes it's conflicted because it's like, a lot of people, they move very fast. Either they're looking for it or they're not. And so I found myself in the middle, in a lot of cases. And I'm also not looking to be taken care of in a sense where I need you to support my lifestyle. I need you to, pay for my bills and, this and that. I more so just want to enjoy your time. I want to enjoy you as a person. I want to enjoy us together. I want us to do all the fun and corny and romantic things, right? Um, but also go home when it's time to go home. Uh, but yeah, if you fall into that category, let me know. What is life like? What is your love life like? Honestly, um, when you're a woman that kind of tends to walk in her own life, what does it look like for you? I don't know. I know for one, I'm too old to do situationships. I think situationships were so fun and hot back in your early 20s, you know what I mean? But I'm too old for that. But at the same time, like, my life has just gotten started. And so, like, the most cliche thing to say is just focus on yourself. Focus on what all that you could do for yourself and do the discoveries and really take time out. And I think that's a wonderful idea. I had that planned, right? Like, this year, no dating, no nothing. But I cannot help it. I'm just like a hopeless romantic. I love love. I love connection. If we hit it out, we hit it out. But at the same time, I have so much respect and focus for myself and my children that I'm never going to allow somebody to get in the way of that. I love love, but I love myself absolutely 1,000 times more. You're never going to get in the way of that. I'm never going to fall short of that again. I think in the past, I've had a habit of when I fall in love, you are completely a part of my life. And now I've learned to kind of separate a lot of it. I've learned to balance a lot of it where, when it's my time, it's my time. Um, it's very limited, but when it's my time, it's my time. But yeah, also, you know, as I grow and as I evolve, these thoughts, these feelings can grow and evolve as well. So I'm not just set in one mindset and I'm never gonna change. But I think that when it comes and when the time comes, I want someone to support me and see me not only as a woman or a lover or a partner, but I want them to also fall in love with the artist in me as well. I think as I get older, that is something so important to me because I never really fused the two. Of course, I would, on my end, I would paint and draw my lovers, and um, that's pretty much it. But when it comes to them really supporting me as an artist, and like I've had people pay for my art, but I really want more of an intimate type of support. What inspired you today? Did you draw? Did you sketch? I want to hear those type of questions. I want people to, I want my lover to witness that the whole process of me experiencing something and then being able to go through a whole creative process of like having it out on canvas or having it out on paper. And so I've never really experienced that before, and I want to. Um, there's this lovely couple, and I'm not comparing myself, right? Because we don't want to do that. We definitely want to stay very realistic because I think people have a habit of like over romanticizing things that we see on the internet, right? But this was romantic though. I have to say it. This couple, and they're kind of like famous, I guess, internet famous or whatever. They're like big on fashion, home decor, hair, travel. They do a lot. But anyway, they're engaged, and the well, yeah, the fiance, the man, right? The man built her built his lady a art studio. And when I saw that, it brought me to tears. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so beautiful." The intimacy of that. She's never going to forget that. Her man built her an art studio, curate, like put all the things together, built the furniture, set up all the supplies, put the artwork up, painted the room, did everything, even bought her a cake with the studio. And I don't even think it was a special occasion. I think it was just because, and I'm just like, oh my god, that is the dream. If my lover built me an art studio, if my man bought me art supplies, let alone a set of color pencils, I would be floored. I would be, whew, just, I would just be blown away. And so, with all of that being said, I'm on a journey of discovering who I am as a partner, as a lover. And I don't know. Come along with me on this journey. I don't know. Come along with me. It's so much to discover, so much to feel and experience. But I think that overall I'm deep, I'm passionate. Um, my heart is open, not wide open, but it's open to so many different possibilities and opportunities. And so, when you're hurt, you want to shut yourself out, but you give yourself time, you'll open up again. And the more and more I give myself time, I open and I open. But also, I'm learning not to fall in limerence. Love bombing is an absolute no. and also stagnant energy. If I don't really feel like we're moving in a fruitful direction, um, I will allow it to just fall off. I think I was somebody that needed that wanted to fix it and fix it and fix it and fix it. There's nothing to fix. Let it go. See what the person has to offer if you decided to take a step back. If you decided to take a step back and just look at them from a regular lens, not your romanticizing lens, not your, oh, he got potential lens. Just look at him from a regular lens. What does he truly have to offer? What has he done in your life? That will impact you and inspire you more than anything. I think my lover must inspire me. Not every day, but it must be some sort of inspiration. It must be some sort of grand influence, right? It must be learning. It must be connecting. It must be encouraging and supporting energy, for both sides. And so we're on a journey of figuring who we are, right? All over again. And so it is not going to be an easy journey because journeys are never really easy. But I think this will be an interesting one. I also want to learn to stop romanticizing sadness so much. I'm so used to being in a certain level of sadness that I've romanticized it to the point where it's my comfort zone. Anything outside of this romantic sadness makes me feel anxious, uncomfortable, unsure, and I, just don't like it, but I want to pivot and move and be comfortable in other emotions like happiness, allow myself to really enjoy someone without the anxiety and the attitude, right? But anyway, I love you guys, and maybe we'll have a part 2 of this.